Hello again. Today is Tuesday, January 5th. This is a video for those individuals absent or in need of additional assistance. To start us off with our self-start, I have two-step equations that I'm having a student solve. I'm looking specifically at, are they showing work while they're doing it? So, to show work, remember there's three things. Draw your fence. What you do to one side, you do to the other. We want to get rid of the term that does not have a variable. So the inverse operation of subtracting 13 is to add 13. What I do to one side, I do to the other. That gives me 4x left on this side. 15 plus 13 gives me 28 on this side. Now that 4 and that x need to be separated, so the opposite of multiplying would be to divide by 4. And that gives me an answer of x equals 7. Over here, draw my fence. I need to get rid of the plus 1, so the inverse operation is to subtract 1. That gives me a negative 3c on this side, and a negative 20 minus 1 gives me a negative 21 on this side. That negative 3 and that c are connected by multiplication, so the opposite would be to divide. So I'm going to divide both sides by a negative 3. Don't forget your negative. And we end up with an answer of c equals negative 21 divided by negative 3 gives me an answer of a positive 7. There's your last thought. We move into something different tomorrow. So you're welcome to pause and read it. As far as today goes for announcements, we're starting to bring people in for lunch that have ends or U's for work completion. So if you're absent, you could be one of those people. So make sure you get caught up when you get back. Here's our updated numbers for our competition. First hour is in 92.59. And it looks like second hour is currently in the lead with 95.83%. So way to go, second hour. Everybody else, you're still doing really good. I mean, the lowest is 84, so keep up the good work. For today, we've done our self-start, and we're going to be doing more review with equations. We're going to be focusing on equations that have decimals or fractions with it. So, start us off. I have 1/2 x plus 5 equals 11. The steps are still the exact same that we're looking for. Draw your fence. We need to get rid of that plus 5. So the opposite would be to subtract 5. That's going to give me 1/2 x on this side. 11 minus 5 gives me 6 on this side. Now this is the part where people get messed up with fractions. People are going to want to divide by 2 or something because of that 1/2. So the opposite of multiply, remember, if they're squished together like that, that means multiply. The opposite would be to divide. So I'm going to divide both sides by 1/2. And that's going to give me an answer of x equals 6 divided by 1/2 gives me 12. Over here, I'm going to draw my fence. We need to get rid of the term that does not have the variable. So the opposite of subtracting 3 would be to add 3. That gives me a 0.1 w on this side. 17 plus 3 gives me 20 on this side. So now I need to get rid of that 0.1. So the opposite of multiply would be to divide. So I'm going to divide both sides by 0.1. And when I do 20 divided by 0.1 on my calculator, I get an answer of w equals 200. Ooh, wow, this one looks scary. We got some big numbers with some decimals and stuff. But the process is still the same. Don't let that worry you. Draw my fence. Get rid of the term that doesn't have a variable. So in this case, this 10.71 doesn't. So I'm going to get rid of that first by subtracting 10.71. That's going to give me a negative 8.38 v on this side. When I type in my calculator, 131.382 minus 10.71, that gives me an answer of 120.672. So now I've got to get rid of that negative 8.38. Do not add, because that negative 8.38 and that v are connected by multiplication, so I want to divide. Make sure you also include your negative sign. So I'm going to divide both sides by a negative 8.38. And I end up with v equals, I'm going to divide negative 8.38 for negative 14.4. This one throws a lot of people off because you want to get rid of the term that does not have a variable, but I see two terms over here that does not have a variable. So in this case, we want to get rid of the division first. We want to get rid of that line. So right now it says m minus 4.9 divided by 2.8. So the opposite of dividing by 2.8 would be to multiply by 2.8. So I'm going to do that to both sides. That's going to give me m minus 4.9 on this side. If I type in my calculator, negative 7.11 times 2.8, it gives me a negative 19.908. So now it's a one-step problem. The inverse operation of subtracting 4.9 would be to add 4.9. And I end up with m equals, I'm going to add negative 19.908 plus 4.9. I'm going to get an answer of negative 15.008. And then the last one. 3x minus 2/3 equals 5 1/3. Draw my fence. I need to get rid of the term that does not have a variable, which would be this 2/3. So the inverse operation would be to add 2/3. I'm going to do that to both sides. It's going to give me a 3x on this side. If I type in my calculator, 5 ABC1 ABC3 plus 2 ABC3, that's going to give me an answer of 6. Now I'm going to divide both sides by 3, and I'm going to get an answer of x equals 2. So there you go. If you have any questions, contact me, email me, message me through Canvas, do what you need to do, and we'll see you back soon enough.